What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with my Week 5 waiver wire video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. If you guys need to know, should I cut this player, should I do this trade, I will help you guys out. If you want to bring home that fantasy football championship, just hit that subscribe button. It's that easy. Let's dive into the top waiver wire ads at the quarterback position. First off, if this guy is out there in your league, it's Justin Fields. Justin Fields, I'm adding ahead of Geno, who balled last night, ahead of all these guys. I think he's locking himself into the position. He's a top 6 QB last week, or top 6 quarterback. We saw him score 32 points this last week. He's running the ball consistently. I think that rushing production, too, based on his usage right now, is heading in the upward direction. I think that's something that people are not putting into account enough. I think he's an absolute must grab, especially if you're needy at the quarterback position. If he starts all year for them, he could easily be top 10 quarterback for fantasy football and a guy that puts your roster over the edge. Geno Smith, another guy I would add. Geno, if you need a quarterback. He looked pretty solid last night. Tons of passing attempts. You always wanted to get that much, but he's run the ball a little bit, which is nice as well. But those are two options out there. Darnold, another guy. Darnold, if you need a quarterback, I'm definitely willing to ride those flames at this point. He's looked really good. Packers defense was a little banged up last week, but he shredded them and looked real good doing it. Let's move on to the running backs. I want to talk about some of the top guys currently available. Okay, nice. It's working now. If Kareem Hunt is out there in your leagues, a lot of people added him a few weeks ago. But if Hunt is out there, I think he is an ad. We saw his utilization this last week, 14 carries and 2 catches, and that was his first week back. Looked pretty solid with the ball in his hand, too. But he'd definitely be an ad. Rico Dowdle, another back. If he's out there, I would add. For the Cowboys, I said that last week. I think it's going to be his job. He's just heading in that direction more and more. He's more talented than other guys in that roster. Some other names I'd throw out there. I think Emmanuel Wilson's worth rostering. The way that roster is running right now. Tyrone Tracy's looked good to me. Another name I would throw out there. Tank Bigsby. Another name I think is worth a cut. We saw ETN go down last week. I think the risk with Bigsby is you might add him. ETN might go down and he might still not be anything. But you got to take shots on guys like that in fantasy football. Nick Chubb coming back. Practice window opens up on Wednesday. A guy to monitor, but not a guy I might be adding if he's out there in your leagues, but not a priority to me, just with the health. Okay, moving on to wide receivers. This is a big spot this week. A lot of guys lost a lot of people. I lost Rashee Rice in both my leagues. Brutal loss, but there's some good names out there on this waiver wire. Dontaviyon Wicks is going to be out there in a lot of leagues. To me, he is a must-add. I would say Romeo Doubs is going to be out there in less leagues, I believe. I would add Dobbs ahead of Wicks, but I still think Wicks is a great ad. He'd be my top ad with the Christian Watson high ankle injury. I think he's going to miss a decent amount of time. It just looked really bad to me in the field. We'll see. Maybe it's a high ankle. Honestly, I think was a good situation for him, but he could still miss several weeks with that all of that factored in. And I think Wicks is a good football player who is already splitting some time with Watson to begin with. He could really seize this role. Had a great game this last week, and he's going to be targeted, especially with Jordan Love back. I said he was a buy low because of Jordan Love, the Packers offense last week, and it came to fruition. A bunch of those guys balled, including Wicks, including Tucker Kraft, we talked about last week. Josh Downs, another guy I would absolutely add, especially if Anthony Richardson doesn't play this week. I think Josh Downs is a guy you could immediately throw in your lineup and be very confident in. If Richardson's out there, it lowers his ceiling for sure. And Tutu Atwell, I do think, is an ad. We've just seen his utilization go up and up. Honestly, with their passing game, too, every time I watch the Rams, I think Tutu is about the only receiver they have that can get anything done right now. And they just draw up plays for him to hurt the defense, really. It's like, we're going to run the ball, have some short passes, and then hope we can gash them with Tutu a few times. And I think that they're just going to continue to expand that role as his season goes on with these injuries that we've seen. Two more names I'll throw out there, too. Xavier Legette. Xavier Legette was one of my top ads last week. When Xavier Legette's in your league, I'm adding him right after Dontaviyon Wicks. It's Xavier Legette up next for me. And he's playing a ton of snaps. Had 10 targets this last week, 6 for 66 yards and a tud. Was getting the ball in the run game as well. I just think he's a guy that's going to be involved. I would throw out another name. Darnell Mooney, to me, has been very impressive recently. I think he is going to be involved in an offense. We talked about him in past weeks. And Wan'Dale Robinson is getting a lot of targets. But I would definitely add Legette, Wan'Dale ahead of Legette and Mooney both ahead of Wandale to me. And I think I would go Wicks, Legette, Downs. That'd be my top order of those guys. And obviously, as I said, if Dobbs out there, Dobbs is a must-add. Moving on to the tight end position, Tucker Kraft is the add to me. I told you guys last week the snap percentages and everything. He's the guy, and he's going to be involved 9 targets this last week. Caught a touchdown, caught a 2-point conversion, but he's going to be really good moving forward. Zach Ertz is a dependable guy. Coley Parkinson had 7 targets. Not super excited about him, but some other names out there on those position groups. And then let's move to defense and just talk some of the top streamers for this week. In my opinion, I think the Broncos are a good bet against Vegas. Their defense has been really good. Vikings defense as well against the Jets, I think, are 2 really good bets. And you can always go Commanders versus Cleveland with how Deshaun Watson struggled so far this year. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys so much for watching. In Mexico, getting this done for you on my vacation because I love fantasy football. I love this channel. Can't wait to keep it going. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with rankings and buy lows.